Hello everyone, today is Reboot, Recharge, and Refill Your Brain Monday. I am inspirational author, life speaker, and yes, a surrender rope of hope, Angelina Squire. So first off, I want to remind you all that you are royalty. For those of you who may be new to, my Monday videos, I always like to open up just to let everyone know that when you see me wearing purple, it's just really a quick reminder that regardless of what you're going through, regardless of the pain and the hardship that you are experiencing, when you see this purple shirt, it's just a quick reminder to remind you all that you are royalty and that Jesus does care about everything that concerns you. So today I wanted to share something that I had went through yesterday, and that's how this video came about. For those of you who have been following me for some time now, you know that I have a son that has autism, and on yesterday it was very, much a bad day, really up until about like 5 o'clock in the morning. So I'm running on really no sleep, but as parents, especially as a mother, to see your child, hurting, he went through what is called a meltdown, and during these times, he doesn't want to be touched, he doesn't want to be held, he doesn't want to eat, he doesn't want the light, bright in his room and things of that nature. Sometimes he may, throw toys around and things of that nature. So we don't have like a lot of objects in his room, so his room is practically kind of bare, and that's for his protection. But I wanted to share with you, in that moment, as a mother, I'm looking at my son, and your first reaction is, let me hold him, and regardless of everything that you try, sometime you have to, like walk away from them. They have to have that time to go through what they're going through, and then they calm themselves down. But as I was standing there and I felt so hopeless, I began to get emotional. Now, I never let my son see me cry, because I do believe in my heart and I understand that he knows when you are not feeling, happy. So anytime I feel that way, I would go into another room, a bathroom or whatever. So I became so emotional on yesterday, and I began to talk to God, and say, Lord, this is, it's too much. It hurts to see my son hurting like this, and I feel so helpless because I can't stop it. And there were so many times where I used to would say, well, Lord, is there any way that I can take his pain, put it on me, take it away from him? And I know some of you that are watching me right now, you may have felt the same way, even about your children. Now, some people may say, well, you're a Christian, you're a believer, you shouldn't, feel that way. But we are human, we have real emotions. So that's why, it's not hard for me to share, my struggles, to share my pain, because I know that, there are other people that have gone through the same thing or experienced, something similar. So through all of that, through my crying and feeling hopeless on yesterday, what I love about the Lord, with his children, he won't allow you to suffer long. He will come in and so many different magnificent ways to let you know that, my daughter, I got it. I see this. You're not alone. And through my tears, he began to speak to me through the Holy Spirit, and he reminded me about 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7, and that's how this video came about today. So I stopped by quickly to remind you that whatever you're dealing with, whatever is hurting you on today, whatever situation where you feel helpless, and hopeless on today, I'm reminding you today to cast your cares. Again, that's 1 Peter chapter 5 verse 7. Jesus calls us to cast our cares upon him, to cast all of our anxieties all of our anxieties on him. So when we look at the word cast, C-A-S-T, it means to fling something down or away, like with the force, right? So cast, when we read that definition, it's an action word. This means that we have to do something. This means that I have to apply something, right, into my life. I have to move to do something. It's a direct action on our part. I want to encourage you on today to even stop picking up what, you will fight within your own strength and what you will allow God to fight for you. Again, stop picking what you will fight on your own in your own strength versus what you will give to God to fight for you. This is why, we're so frustrated sometimes, because, we try to handle things that it's beyond our control, and we're supposed to release that to the Lord, right? Again, he tells us to cast all. And that's one of your keywords, all. To cast all, not some, but all of your cares on him. The mistake that we all too often make is when we try to decide, what's a small care or what's a large care, then this becomes like a personal care measuring stick of what we give to God. So we sit there and we itemize our pain and we say, well, okay, well, I'll deal with this, and, maybe I'll let God deal with, the other thing that I'm dealing with, but I'll handle this. So then we find ourselves in a mess. We find ourselves in a mess when we don't give it all to God. When we don't place it all. When we don't place all things in his care, we find ourselves in a mess, in a broken state, in a fragile state. Again, he wants us to cast our cares upon him. And I can't say this enough. And why do he want us to do this? Why do you think that he wants us to cast all of our cares upon him? He wants us to do this because, guess what? He cares for us, right? He cares for us, and he don't want us worried. He don't want us bothered, by anything. And you have to make your request known to him. So how do we even make our request known to him? We do this through prayers, right? Through prayers and supplication. And it's with thanksgiving. And then the peace of God. That's your other keywords today. Then the peace of God, which passes all understanding, will rule in our hearts and in our minds through Christ. That's Philippians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. So when we're in this fragile moment, when we're in this emotional state, we need the peace of God within our hearts and mind. And when it tells us here in Philippians 4, verses 6 through 7, when it says, his peace surpasses all understanding, meaning that when you're going through something that's so, painful, that's so difficult, and it seems like you're in the greatest storm of your life, some of you may have multiple things coming at you, more in more than one area, in more than one way. So when you have the peace of God ruling and reigning within your hearts and within your minds, you're able to go through that. But not only are you able to go through that, you will have the assurance of knowing that, God got it. He understands. He sees it all. He's working it out for me. So when you have his peace, it really doesn't make sense to the natural, because with all of the things that you're going through, everything in the natural is saying that you should, kill yourself, or you should have even been dead already. But his peace says, no, hold on. This is not your fight. God is saying, I got this. You just stand and watch me work. You just trust in what you're giving me. But if we don't give our cares to him, then what do he have to work with? What does he have to work with if we don't release stuff? If we hold on to these emotions, we hold on to this pain. If we hold on to it, we're remaining, stuck in it, trapped in it. We're keeping ownership of it when we don't release it to him. I'm praying that I'm helping someone today, because this blessed me yesterday. Because I really was like beside myself yesterday. Again, like I told you, those who have been watching me, yes, I am a born again believer. I'm also human. I'm a mother with feelings. And it's a challenge every time, when I have to watch my son go through that. So again, whatever you don't release to God, whatever care you don't give to him, then he can't take care of it for you. So you got to decide, I'm releasing this thing. I'm taking it out of my hand. It's too big for me. It's not for me to hold and to fight and to carry. I'm taking this load off of my back. I'm going to allow his peace to comfort my heart and comfort my mind while he's working. So in Philippians 4 again, verses 6 through 7, when we are with our prayers and supplication with thanksgiving, what we are doing here, we are earnestly asking the Lord for help for something, right? We're asking for him to provide us, with something that we need. We're asking him to provide comfort, a release, a way out, something that we can't do in and of ourselves. Some of you are already, you're stressing about tomorrow, next week, next month, and even next year. And today has just begun. Today have not even, finished yet. And you already, bothered by, I got to get this done. I have this deadline to meet tomorrow. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to. And now you're so frustrated with today, you can't even enjoy today. You can't even enjoy the time that God has blessed you with on today. So if you're feeling like this right now, you have already, missed out on so much, but it's not too late to allow the peace of God to rule in your mind and your heart on today. But you have to release that care to him. The word of the Lord, he tells us that we need not to be worried about tomorrow, because each day has sufficient troubles of its own. So tomorrow has enough troubles of its own. Matthew chapter 6 verses 25 through 34. So what does that mean when it says each day has sufficient troubles of its own? In other words, he's telling us that today's trouble is enough for today. So you wake up each and every day, focus on that day. Now, I'm not saying that, you don't have a plan for, the rest of your week. No, I even write down plans in my, planner. Sometimes I don't do it all the time as much as I should. But when you have something to go by, it does make your life smoother. But you shouldn't be waking up each day overwhelmed about things that has to be done for days that have not even came yet. Because each day is not promised to us. So you focus on that day and allow the peace of God to carry you for that day, right? So your focus, mindful for today, for this week. You know, you can write it down so you don't have to replay the video, and you can remember it. I want you to say that, no, I can't throw away my problems. No, I can't throw away my problems. And no, I can't even get over by pretending that they don't exist. But I can choose to no longer remain burdened down by my situation. I can choose not only today, but every day to turn to God who strengthens me, right? With power to reject anything, any worry, any distractions that disturbs and interfere with my peace and distracts my mind. I want to go back up to where I said, no, that we can't even pretend to, act as if our problems don't exist. Sometimes we think that when we have a problem, situation, pain, whatever it is, that if we just shove it in the back of our mind, it'll go away. No. Anything that you do not deal with, it only grows. So you can't pretend that something don't exist. You have to deal with that. It's not going to go away. It's just going to only, become worse. So you have to decide, I'm going to deal with this now, give it over to God. And when you give something over to God, that means that I trust that He's going to, handle the situation. Even if He don't do it the way that I envision Him to do it, I still trust that His decision is just. It's just like when you plant a specific seed for something, right? And you release that seed for whatever it is you expect that harvest to be. But what do? Most of the time, we end up digging that seed back up. And we dig it back up when our situation doesn't go away, or when something else come and hit us while we are already going through something, and then we dig up that seed. Now we're saying, okay, God, do you really got this? I don't see any changes. I was believing in you. Things got worse. So now you dug up that seed. So again, don't go about, thinking that your problems don't exist and then you choose not to deal with them. Deal with them, release them to Him. And trust that He got it. And you leave it there. You leave it there. And again, make the choice, not just today, but every day, to turn to God, because He's the only one that can strengthen you and give you the power to reject anything that disturbs and interfere with your peace, and anything that, distracts your mindset. And I'm going to close with this. And please remember this. God is more than enough. He's big enough to handle everything that you can. He can handle everything. He can carry everything that you cannot carry. So you have two choices today. You can either choose to continue to carry that worry, carry that problem, remain burdened within that care, or you can choose to allow Him to carry it for you. So again, I pray that this video blesses someone today. Again, you're watching another Reboot, Recharge, and Refill Your Brain Monday, where we come in and we encourage one another. We remind each other that we are royalty and that Jesus loves us very much, and that there's nothing too hard for Him to handle. And remember again, please, because this blessed me greatly yesterday. That's why I'm giving it, to you all today. And I pray that you take something away from this video and not just listen to me and just go back and just, listen to it. Apply it. Use it. Because the word works, but it only works when we work it. So we have to do something in order for the word to work. Stop carrying around pain that you're not supposed to be carrying. And as it pertains to my son, when he's that way, I have to keep reminding myself that God got it. God got it. I'm not supposed to be able to fix anything. I'm not God. So my thing is to stay in a praise and worship and to keep believing that all things work together to the good of them who loves the Lord. And that's all that's required of me. And to continue walking, this faith walk. Continue to stay righteous before him, not people. Not people. I care less about people pleasing. That's not what I'm here for. He didn't deliver me to please people. He delivered me to be transparent, to show people that, through my pain and things that I have gone through, that through him, there is a way out. There is hope. So I am a living witness. I am a rope of hope. So I will see you all next week on another Reboot, Recharge, Refill Your Brain Monday. I love you all. Royal kings and queens, continue to go about your day as such. Give God everything and everything will line up for you. Love you all. See you all next week. Bye.